Thank you, Bobby. So I am going to invite folks who are not at the table to probably just join a table. We're going to have some table conversation at this time. It feels like we might be able to do it with 4 tables, and I know sometimes that's a little bit off-putting to the folks who actually have to move. But my invitation is that you would join that table. So let me walk you through what the activity is. You'll have an opportunity to have some discussion, to really just debrief from all that you've heard this morning and this afternoon. So I'm going to ask you to start out by identifying someone at your table who will help to move the conversation so that we're done before sunset. And somebody who will be your reporter, who will be able to kind of speak to what transpired. It's a democracy, whatever method you want to use to choose those individuals, age divisible by 6, shoe size 10, whatever you choose, it's really up to each group. But it would be great to have one individual reporting out. I'm going to harken back to what I saw this morning, that there were at least maybe 4 people in the room who said they were experts on fiscal fluency. My hope is that there's one at each table, and so that we'll be able to have this discussion. The major piece here is number 2, for you to kind of discuss what your takeaways have been to this point. What was intriguing, exciting, and or confusing based on what you've heard? How has your thinking or understanding changed or shifted since this morning, if it has? And then this piece around how generalizable or transferable is what we heard from these other sectors, and why do you think it is or it is not? And that should get us to a place where it helps us to kind of say, so here's where I am, here's what I'm thinking, or here are some of the things I'm not sure I even followed, and to maybe depend on your colleagues to help to shore that up. Thereafter, this, what's indicated as 3, that piece of the exercise gets us to, if you're going to be fluent, you got to be able to speak it or write it. And so this is just a test. This is not a huge deal. I have, and I'll circulate it to each table, just a template or a table itself that helps you to say, all right, so, and I'm going to go back to something I just heard Dr. Isham mention, which was, so if you think about the sector like business, what is it that they could be doing, and under what kinds of conditions would it actually work, and what would be the co-benefits that we'd be able to record? So you'll have an opportunity at your tables to probably just pick one thing as a group and kind of parse that out so it feels like you're really understanding the flow of what works. And then finally, so if you're supposed to operate in this space, is there anything else that you think you need? Any help, assistance, information, data that would help to push you further along? If when you voted this morning you indicated that you have really no idea what fiscal fluency is all about. So you're being asked to, on the post-it notes which are on your tables, they're either yellow or orange, just to record those, and then you can leave those on the table for capture by staff thereafter. I'm going to show you an example from a template, but I just wanted to check in with the group to see if there are any kind of questions of clarity or clarification on the task. And I recognize we're after 3, so I may have to play fast music or something to keep us going, but I anticipate that you'll probably be as engaged as you need to be in this discussion. Carl, you might need to help me out here. There you go. So you'll see the document. It's fairly easy. What sector or sectors would be involved as you think about this? Doing what? That's kind of strategically, and that'd be at a high level. This is really a theoretical model. You'll have the opportunity at your tables to have a discussion. And what we recorded here was there's a teen initiative, a teen mentorship initiative that aims to reduce truancy, boost payments to schools, which is then reinvested in expanded developmental opportunities for youth. The condition is, I'm just generating here, so the condition here is that your payment model presumes that schools are being paid for attendance. I gathered based on some conversation we had last night that is perhaps the case. And then what are some of the likely co-benefits for whoever is involved in making this happen? How can you articulate where there'd be benefits to accrue to both the sector, the sectors, and the individuals who are part of that work? So this is just to start the juices flowing. And depending on the sector or sectors you choose, you will embellish, and you'll probably have clearly more than one or two bullets in each of these spaces. All right, so I'm going to ask you in the time, and I'm going to go back to the other slide if this allows me, because it has the time on it. There we go. These are approximate times, but I really don't think you should take more than 2 minutes to determine. I've been in rooms before where it takes like 10 minutes to determine who the facilitator should be. It really isn't such a big deal. So if you could just, at your tables, assign that role to someone and begin the conversation in terms of answering the questions that you're asked, question 2. And then I'll bring the group back together. I will check in with you at about 45 minutes just to see, because my original anticipation was that there was going to be as many as 10 people at each table. It feels like it might move a little bit faster if there are only 5 or 6 people at each table. So have at it, and then I'll bring us back together in 45 minutes.